We have Jeffrey Epstein updates as Donald Trump, in another memorable press conference, accuses the Biden administration of possibly planting his name on the Epstein files. I'm going to get into that. But first, he basically, in this press conference, says, I never had the privilege of going, which is a very strong word choice. By privilege of going, he means to Epstein's island. Here's what he had to say.
The island. And Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
By the way, do you think there's a group chat for all of the presidents and other leaders of different countries, the prime ministers that have to sit in these press conferences? They must send each other images of them just being like, can I slowly drift out from being associated with this nonsense? Here's Donald Trump suggesting that the Biden administration put his name in the Epstein files as payback. You have to remember, Jeffrey Epstein died during Trump's first presidency. This whole game of blaming the former administration doesn't work when you were the former administration.
I've not been briefed on the Epstein files, or your name has not appeared in the Epstein files. But doesn't the AG have to tell you if your name is...
Well, I haven't been overly interested in it. You know, it's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this, those files were run by the worst scum on earth. They were run by Comey. They were run by Garland. They were run by Biden.
The worst scum on earth. Not that good scum or that mediocre scum, but the worst scum. I will say this about Trump. I will miss when he's gone the hyperbole. It's always like the greatest this, the worst scum. The Epstein files are the biggest. It's, he's the master of Mad Libs.
And all of the people that actually ran the government, including the auto pen, those files were run for 4 years.
And here we have the prime minister going, oh, good God, why am I still in this room?
By those people. If they had anything, I assume they would have released it. The whole thing is a hoax. They ran the files. I was running against somebody that ran the files. If they had something, they would have released.
And by the way, when you watch this, sorry to interrupt, imagine Donald Trump playing an accordion as you watch this. Has there ever been an accordion player who could play to the sort of the speed of him moving his hands?
They can easily put something in the files that's a phony. Those files were run by bad, sick people. If they had anything, why didn't they use it when I was killing Joe and then he gave out because he was 25 points down? And then I got somebody new. Nobody even knew anything about it. She was a horrible vice president. But think of it. Those files were run by these people. They were run by my enemy. If there was anything in there, they would have used them for the election.
Look, it's pretty good logic. But my response to that is, then release the files. If there's nothing in there, then release the files. We have another interesting clip to share with you guys from Trump's meeting with UK Prime Minister Starmer. Here he was asked about Ghislaine Maxwell. He says nobody's asked him to give her a pardon, but that he is allowed to. Let's have a listen to this clip right here.
Mr. President, you completely rule out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell when you landed. Is that something you would ever consider and why?
Pardon for who?
For Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, I'm allowed to give her a pardon, but nobody's approached me with it. Nobody's asked me about it. It's in the news about that aspect of it. I never had the privilege of going to his island.
So it seems to me as though he's beginning to float the idea and sort of test that idea amongst his audience. I think they will roundly reject any pardon for a child sex trafficker. Here's J.D. Vance providing cover to Donald Trump.
Donald J. Trump, I'm telling you, He's got nothing to hide. You ought to go after the administrations that went easy on Jeffrey Epstein, the administrations that concealed this case for 20 years, and the administrations that failed to show full transparency. Donald J. Trump, I'm telling you, he's got nothing to hide. His administration has got nothing to hide, and that's why he's been an advocate for full transparency in this case.
Perfect. In that case, release the files. Okay, I don't mean to sound redundant here. Here's an update from Midas Touch. Says Ghislaine Maxwell files a reply brief to the Supreme Court.
Major update just in the Epstein case. Ghislaine Maxwell has submitted her reply brief to the United States Supreme Court, and she's asking the court to throw out her conviction, arguing that the government violated a deal it made with Jeffrey Epstein all the way back in 2007. That was that sweetheart deal made with Epstein in Florida by then U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta. He would then go on to serve in the first Trump administration. The deal said that the United States would not prosecute any of Epstein's potential co-conspirators, and Maxwell says that that should include her. But years later, she was prosecuted in New York. Her lawyers are saying that the government broke its own word, and that kind of deal should apply to all federal prosecutors in every district, not just in the state of Florida.
All right, collectively, let's all tell Ghislaine Maxwell to go shut the F up. But hey, she might have a case there, and maybe Trump will use this as the reason to give her a pardon. So, like, I guess this would possibly not be a pardon, but overturning it, in which case he could have his Department of Justice, which we know is doing his bidding. It's supposed to be an independent, jurisdiction, but of course they're doing his bidding here. So he might say, hey, look, you might have to overturn this. I don't know. We'll have to see. That would be the scapegoat that he needs to get her out. But again, maybe he'll just flat out pardon her. Here we have Donald Trump. What's this one? This is interesting. He's saying that they're going to open food centers in Gaza during a meeting with the Prime Minister of the British Prime Minister Starmer. Have a listen.
Set up food centers, and we're going to do it in conjunction with some very good people, and we're going to supply funds. And we just took in trillions of dollars. We got a lot of money, and we're going to spend a little money on some food and no boundaries. We're not going to have fences, and they can't. They see the food from 30 you would say yards away, and they see the food. It's all there, but nobody's at it because they have fences set up that nobody can even get it. It's crazy what's going on over there. That's real starvation stuff. I see it, and you can't fake that. So we're going to be even more involved. We did some airlifts before, some airdrops, and the people are running for it.
Yeah, no, listen, so here's the deal, right? We've been talking about this situation in Gaza for a while. We've been, if every time you mention it, you get real crazy DMs from people saying, oh, it's AI generated, or those kids aren't starving, they've got muscular dystrophy. I mean, you hear everything to describe and write off this genocide that's happening. It is a genocide. There's mass starvation. It's a tragedy what's going on. And our country's been complicit. Point blank, we've been complicit. And I think this is good, possibly to see Trump here say, hey, look, there is starvation happening. We need full access to the food. The question is going to become, how does the rollout happen? Here's an aid truck getting rushed by Palestinians in Gaza. Folks, this is insanity what's going on. I don't blame the people. I don't blame the chaos. I mean, we've seen stampedes happen when someone wins a soccer game. Now imagine 1 million people that are starving and there's bags of rice and people are begging and wondering, can I get that bag of rice? And the other thing we're noticing as people are running for these food trucks is that they're being fired upon. And, it's such an unsafe time as they're literally fighting life and death. Not only the chaos that comes from the stampedes and all of that, but just the idea that there's only so little to go around. It's inhumane. Here we have, and again, these videos are going super viral. It's so important that we take a look at it. A family's joy at their son bringing home a bag of flour after he risked his life entering death traps just to feed him. There it is. Get a look at these images. Really absorb how simple the goals are right now. Life versus death. And the joy that's going around. This isn't a time, they've got phones, They've got, they've got some generators and some electricity and some solar and different things going on, but they don't have food coming in. I don't know how else to say this and how else to illustrate this to people, but check this video out. Again, these videos are all going viral because it's so inhumane to think that somebody, a father, a brother, risking their life to provide for their family just to get through that day, that week. Kissing a bag of flour. Surrounded by rubble. Kids cheering. Unbelievable images, right? And this isn't new. This goes back to January. A father in Gaza brought a rare jar of Nutella home to his children. His wife filmed their reaction.
This dad in Gaza was shopping for food in the local market when he spotted something rare, a jar of Nutella.
It was a surprise, actually, when I found it in the market. It was $50. Back days when, before the war, I used to buy it for $5. Yeah.
So he surprises his kids for a jar. And again, this is 7 months ago. They've gone from surprising your kids with a jar of Nutella to begging and pleading for a sack of flour. This is the reality. So when Trump says he's going to open up aid distribution, I mean, it needs to be to the extent that people have so many options. It is so safe that they can really begin to refuel themselves, not for this week or for this month, but if you're a civilian, you should not be starved in war. That is a crime. And as a world, we need to know that in 2025, we need to do better. I hope this is the beginning of the end of that nightmare for the innocent children. There are going to be so many cases of irreversible harm done, but better today than never that they figure it out. And again, Trump has the chance. He has the chance for a huge political win if he wants to go in there with all of the might of the U.S. government and ride up to those shores with food and bust down the blockades and all of that. This is our country. This is our country's image on the line. And I don't even mean this just for political reasons. As humans, we should be worried about this. But who the hell are we to try to tell other people how to live, to try to form democracy in other countries if we don't listen to the people, and the people across the world have said, feed these fucking kids. All right, that's going to be it from me. We'll be back in the morning. I appreciate all the support. I know it gets kind of heavy, but these are important topics. We'll see you guys then. I'm Dave, and this is The Rush.